one stop, a family shop. Think Thayer, come on, let's get rolling. Come on, let's get moving. Think Thayer.
Hello and welcome to Falcon Weekly here on BGSUFalcons.com. It's the first edition of the new season. I'm Evan Pivnick, the radio voice of the Bowling Green Falcons, and I'm joined by the head coach of the Bowling Green Falcons, Chris Bergeron. Coach, thanks for joining me. It has to feel good to get back into the groove.
It does, yeah. The summer goes by fast, but thinking back of the last game we played in Minneapolis there, or St. Paul, I guess, at the Final Five, seems like a long time ago. So we're ready to get back after it.
Almost a little bit too long in your mind. You wanted, hopefully, for this season to have a shorter off season. The team had a chance to practice a little bit by themselves for September and midway through September, and then finally the coaches got in to the practices. And how does that feel, just to get back on the ice with the team? And what have you seen going right so far?
Well, first of all, they put a bunch of work in the summer, and as every college coach knows, in hockey anyway, they're ready and hungry to go that last week of August, and you kind of have to pull the reins in a little bit. So we've seen a hungry group. They're out there, as you said, for a couple of weeks on their own, doing captain stuff and maybe individual instruction stuff, where you're honing things individually, or from a captain's perspective, you're trying to have the older guys teach the younger guys somewhat of a game plan. The last couple of weeks of September, we get 2 hours a week with them, and we can go out there and they can condition and compete on their own, and then we can come out there and kind of, again, start to tweak the system and the details and the habits and make sure there's a purpose to what's going on out there. And then come October 3rd, you've got a game. You've got somebody pushing back. So it was time for us to play a game, play somebody else, and kind of see where we're at. And that's the process. That's how it goes. And I've been doing it. That would be my 16th. I call it training camp. It's not necessarily called that by everybody, but that was our 16th training camp and our 6th here at Bowling Green. And I think we're right where we're supposed to be. We're ready to play a high-end opponent in Ohio State come Friday.
And let's talk about that exhibition game this past Saturday, a 4-3 win over the University of Toronto. What did you like that your team did on Saturday? Not only win, but the little things. What did you like?
Well, that's where I would start. I like the fact that we found a way to win. I mean, there's going to be very difficult contests and adverse situations, game in and game out. We know that. The WCHA is tight checking. The non-conference schedule we have is very difficult. So there's going to be those situations and those opportunities. I thought our special teams were really good. We were 1 for 5 on the power play. There was a couple of opportunities we probably could have been better. We did have a shorthanded goal, which was the winner. So I like the special teams. Overall, I liked the effort. I thought the effort was there. And again, I thought we pretty much stayed fairly even throughout. Didn't get too high or too low when things were going good or going bad, depending. And ultimately, I like the fact that, again, that we get to play somebody else. That's the biggest plus with that exhibition game.
And speaking of playing someone else, 5 games in 8 days coming up to start the year. How do you prepare for something like that?
Well, I think you pull back on practice a little bit, and that'll probably be, tomorrow, Thursday, next Monday's practice, next Thursday's practice. There's not going to be much to that. It's a little bit more of a pro-type schedule. So we'll be fine. I mean, again, we haven't played a game since last April or the end of March, and we have 1 exhibition game thrown in there. So these guys are ready. I think they're hungry to play that many games in a short amount of time, because you don't do that much in college. And after that stretch, we get a weekend off before we head to Alaska. So it is what it is, and Western Michigan has the same setup as we do, so we'll have them next Tuesday. Ohio State's got some games coming up, so everyone's in the same boat, and we're excited about it.
And to open the season against Ohio State, Friday on the road and then Saturday at home, it's got to be special always playing Ohio State, knowing the tradition for going back to the CCHA.
Yeah, it really is, and I've said this before a bunch, and I appreciate Ohio State keeping us on the schedule and willing to come to Bowling Green to play us here. Keeping that in-state rivalry and the old traditional CCHA rivalry together and intact, and hopefully for the foreseeable future. We really appreciate them doing that. They're a really good team. If you look at the games we've played over the last couple of years, they've all been really close. And we expect no different this weekend.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time. Best of luck this weekend on this stretch coming up to begin the year.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.